and welcome to this Get Ready With Me. We're creating an everyday makeup look. So the first thing that I do when I sit down to do my makeup routine is the brows. So I'm going to start off with the Maybelline Super Lock Brow Glue. They have a new version that's tinted, but I am going with the first original, which is the clear. And I do the laminating technique where I lay down the brows, and I've been doing this for a couple of months and I really love this routine. I like using this specific brow glue from Maybelline because it does have quite a bit of hold, which is what exactly I need in my brows, and I give this a few minutes to dry before I go in with a brow pen. Today I'm going to use my Maybelline Build-A-Brow. As you can see, my original one has been well loved. The label has been rubbed off almost entirely. So I do have a backup, and I wear the shade Ash Brown in this. And what I'm going to do is start filling in the brows, and I start by tackling the areas that are sparse, areas that have bald spots, areas that are maybe not as full as I would like them to be. I kind of start with that, and then I start proceeding with filling in the brows, just to give a full brow effect. But with the brow pens, it creates a hair-like effect. So it does look natural. It almost looks like my brows are full of hair when they're really not. So it's kind of like a win for me personally, because my brow hairs are, as you can tell, the before and after is quite different. It makes all the difference for me. I've been just kind of sticking to using the brow glue and the brow pen, just those two products, kind of streamlining the process. My old brow routine used to take me a lot longer, trying to get everything perfected, and I just kind of stopped doing that. I just do something really simple. Brow pen has been my go-to with the brow gel. Then I'm going to go into the complexion. I'm going to take the Point of View Glaze, which is a sticky tacky primer, and I'm going to use about 2 pumps worth to apply to the face, using my fingers to blend this in. It's a great prep step before applying the foundation. And I've enjoyed this primer because it does have a little bit of tackiness, but it's not super sticky. And the biggest difference that I've noticed is the fact that it allows me to blend my foundation really nicely over the top, which in this case today is going to be the Haus Labs. This is the Triclone foundation, which I love. I wear the shade 050 Fair Cool, and I'm using one of my favorite brushes from BK Beauty to blend this in. And as I mentioned previously, the actual primer allows me to blend really well. Most sticky primers, in my experience, have never really allowed me to blend very well, and this is one of the few exceptions. So I really do like this primer. Moving into concealer, I'm going to go in with my Estée Lauder Double Wear because it is amazing. This concealer, ever since it launched, it gives me that full coverage look, but I can also kind of scale that back and use less. And in this particular moment, I'm kind of debating which brush to use, but I'm using one of my Morphe brushes. The coverage on this is full coverage, but you can tailor that to your preference. It looks flawless and beautiful under the eyes, never creases, never looks weird, doesn't make me look older by the end of the day. It is absolute perfection, and I wear shade 1N. And then I'm gonna go in with, yes, you guessed it, one of my favorite powders from the drugstore, L'Oreal Blur Fection powder in the light pink shade. I had to. This is my favorite powder from the drugstore. I have so many in my collection from the drugstore and also high-end, and I keep coming back to this, and that says a lot. It's a powder that kind of sets the makeup but gives you that blurred effect, so it does exactly what it's supposed to do. I do like to take the translucent light from time to time as my setting powder for the entire face. That's why I use 2 different shades. So the pink is only for the under eyes for that extra brightening aspect. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of bronzer to add some warmth and dimension back into the skin. And so I'm using the Baked Bronzer from Dibs Beauty. This is in the shade Vanilla Latte. I love this bronzer. It's a fairly new addition to my collection, but I love how easy this is to blend over my skin. It never looks streaky, never looks too heavy, doesn't look orange, muddy, doesn't make my face look dirty. It is purely a wonderful baked formula that I absolutely love. And then keeping on with the baked trend, let's go in with some Kosas. This is one of their new baked blushes in the shade called Heartbeat. It is described as a vibrant red, and it is absolutely stunning. It is beautiful. For the same reasons that I loved baked formulas, I just love the way this sits on the skin, the way it blends in, and it goes on top of whatever you've applied previously. So my foundation, my bronzer, my concealers, setting powders, it never looks heavy. It almost looks like it becomes one with the skin. And this shade doesn't look scary once you blend just a little bit. It looks super, super natural. So it looks very vibrant and red in the pan, but on the face, it looks so, so beautiful. Very flattering. And I am using one of my favorite Morphe brushes as well. Then for a little bit of glow, I'm going to go in with the Halo Glow one from e.l.f. This is one of their newer shade extensions in the shade IRL Angel. It's a really pretty kind of iridescent white gold with a pink shift to it. So I use my fingers to apply it. You can use the applicator, which is like a puffy tip if you choose. And then to set everything, I'm going to use the You Mist from Fenty Beauty. I was testing this out for the first time in this video, and I actually do like this setting powder. I took it with me on vacation, and it was actually a really nice one to use. For lips, I'm going in with one of my favorites, the Maybelline Lifter Liner in the shade Line Leader. One of those formulas that is very pigmented and creamy, glides on, but wears incredibly well. So as the day goes on and this fades, I still have that shape and structure to my lips, and it makes the lips look fuller because it's a shade that matches my lips closely. This is just a few shades deeper, but it gives me that same effect to my lips but better, and I do really love this formula. So I basically line and I filled in almost entirely my entire lip. Then going in with the Lifter Glaze, a new product from Maybelline in a kind of berry tone. I believe it's called Berry Haze, and I love this formula. Like a lipstick, lip balm, and lip oil in one. It is a really nourishing and conditioning formula. It gives me a nice high shine gloss, and these two together are absolute perfection. Let's move on to the eyes. I'm going to start off with my Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer. I always have to prime before using any eyeshadows to prevent creasing. And I'm going to take my Dibs bronzer. This is the Vanilla Latte shade, the same one that I use on my face. I'm going to use that with a fluffy crease brush. And I'm just kind of laying down a little bit of color to create a little bit of structure and dimension to the eyes so that they're not lost in translation with everything else. I want to highlight the eyes, but not make it too difficult and a lot of products. I'm just using the things that I already use on my face. And I'm going to take one of these eyeshadows from the Morphe palette. This is the Rich Glitch palette. This one has a little bit of a kind of rosy, kind of plummy type of shade to it. And it kind of pulled some tones from my shirt that had a little bit of plum to it. So that's why I chose it. And I'm just going to use my fingers to apply that to the lid and then taking a brush to blend that into the bronzer and just keeping it pretty simple and minimal. It's really one eyeshadow. If you're looking at the products that I'm using, it's technically one shadow, and the bronzer, it's my face bronzer. So it's a really simple look. It's not a no makeup look, but it doesn't take a lot of effort and energy, and it's just simple and streamlined. One color and the bronzer. You can also use your blush too if you wanted to kind of streamline the process and use less products. You could do that as well. Once I have that built up, I'm going to then move down to the lower lashes and use a little bit of a deeper shade to highlight and create a little bit more of a kind of smoky look under the eyes. I am going to use that same shade though that I use on my lids, just keeping it simple. I want to make sure that the under eyes are not forgotten, so I'm going to use that same color, just again keeping things simple and easy. For the brow highlight, inner corner highlight, I'm going back to that same Rich Glitch palette and using the lightest shade, which is kind of like a satiny finish. It's kind of like an ivory type shade. Using that to highlight inner corner and brow bone. For eyeliner, I'm going to go in with my NYX Epic Ink liquid liner in the shade called Milk Chocolate. I'm going to do a very thin line from inner corner to outer corner, as I typically always do. This is my favorite liquid liner from the drugstore. It is creamy, it is rich, it goes on like a dream. And then the e.l.f. Smokey eyeliner in the French Rose is what I'm using to tightline. For mascara is going to be the new one from Makeup by Mario. He did an excellent job with this mascara. It gives me length, volume, thickness. It highlights every single lash. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look like it's too much for my lashes. It fans them out. It's everything that I look for in a mascara. So I'm really happy with this formulation. You can see the results of applying 2 coats of that mascara. And this is the finished look. This is kind of like an easy, everyday kind of makeup look. It's not a no makeup look by any means, but it's also not a lot of product. It doesn't take a lot of time and energy to do this. I can knock this out pretty quickly, so let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Share with me your favorite products, your favorite go-tos that you have to use every single day. What makes your routine easier? I want to know what your favorite products are. I love hearing from you guys. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and you can also follow me on social media. Thanks again for watching and for being here today with me, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I'll see you soon.